Hello and welcome to the 2020 Waco Annual Charity Open coverage presented by Prodigy Disc. We are here in Waco, Texas, round 2 front 9 coverage of the league group, and we have got Big Julie commentary, Jeremy Koling joined by Paul Ulibarri. Let's go to the Grip 6 low profile.
Paul McBeth, no surprise here, 11 under par, 66% circle 1 in regulation.
He's scrambling, he's getting up and down. And Matt Bell, one of the most underrated players on tour, 2-time winner last year, winner from a chase card. He's dangerous in the woods. Garrett Gurthie, he's had a lot of success at this event in the past. He's been in the mix many times. 0 OBs in round 1. He's going to want to continue that. What do you have to say about that?
Eric Oakley's in awe of the Grip 6 logo.
Well, let's get right into it with a little bit of information about the starting of the second round. PDGA made an announcement coming into the round that this would be the final round of the event. Obviously, there is mass hysteria going on around the coronavirus, and this event will be shortened due to that. So we know that this is the last round, and it is going to be all-out sprint for 18 more holes.
Yeah, and another thing to note is no spectators as well allowed at the event.
Yeah, the spectators, I don't know where all those claps are coming from, but yeah, it was kind of an eerie feel on the course.
Here's Paul McBeth lining up the machete, which is an extremely overstable disc.
And that is going to roll just a little bit, but that should still be a birdie for Paul. Matt Bell, such an exciting player to watch. He's so aggressive with his putting lines, and when he's hitting his line in the woods, it's just a really exciting player to watch.
Yeah, very unique style, and just shows you there's all kinds of different ways to score very well on the course.
Yeah, you don't really see many people dip that way that he throws that, and that needs to get down. It does. That is a scary testing putt to start this round.
And pre-love, Garrett, Gurthie.
And Garrett Gurthie, no stranger to the hyzer game.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to go high spike. And once again, we have got the same prevailing wind, which is going to set up a very exciting finish no matter what. Those last holes coming into the headwind. We'll obviously get to those holes later on, but you know when you're starting off hole 1 with a headwind, it means that the finish of the round is going to be really tricky.
Yeah, and again, this is a tricky shot. I mean, a little bit too nose up, and it's going left over the path, and if you hang it out wide, kind of like he's done here, it looks like it did get the nice lift, but hanging out a little bit wider than that, and you can really bring in that trouble on the right. So
that's a park job for Eric.
Yeah, it looks like they've all kind of landed safe and done what they were supposed to do.
And that's a common miss there. If you hit the top, you're most likely going to skip out of bounds, so that miss is going to be on the low end there. Matt unable to keep it high enough and have to settle for the par. And McBeth able to pick up the birdie despite the rollaway.
And kind of the awkward stance there.
Yeah, there's a lot of that shrubbery that's leaning over the wall there can definitely play a factor in having a comfortable stance. Garrett with the birdie. And looking like Matt Bell will be the only par on the first hole. Relatively easy, even despite the headwind. It's more of just like the nerves of the first hole. And again, knowing that this is the last round, McBeth has got that early 3-stroke lead on the card. I mean, you can't really imagine going in with 18 holes left, but now 17 for these guys, trailing the number 1 player in the world. That's not a really good situation for anyone to be in.
No.
Hole 2, par 4, 631 feet. The best play off the tee is going to be a hyzer flip with a somewhat stable driver, just kind of trying to keep it low and avoiding those branches, and just kind of getting somewhere in this range right up here, about the 450 range. And then that sets up a pretty short. A lot of players are going with a forehand approach, but it really is just whatever your preference is from there. And Paul releases this one a little bit early. Looks like he's going to get away with it.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah, and I think he probably just threw it a little bit too high, a little too tight, but once you get past those early trees, it really doesn't matter as long as you don't skip too far left and go OB. And Garrett going with the Emperor. He has put a move on this, but this could... No, it's perfect.
Wow.
For a second, I thought he might have turned it too much, but that is getting every bit of the flight. That is past the 450 range, and Garrett's going to have a short putt. Well, short approach. That's probably not a Sonic because it's a headwind, but he's way up there.
Oh boy. He wasn't happy with it out of his hand. You could see he kind of grip locked it a little bit there, but it came all the way back, and that's kind of a fairly...
That's a good drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time I actually played the last round last year at this event, I played with Eric, and he got a 2 on this hole. He hammered his drive, made a 100-foot putt, and it was incredible. But this hole is not that deuceable today with this headwind. It just really stymied these drives.
And it looked like Matt kind of went a little left there. That could have been pretty close to going out of bounds left over that path. I didn't really see it land there.
No, and the trick with being that far left is Eric pushes it all the way to the sidewalk, skips up to about 30 feet, is that he's going to have probably several trees to deal with. And it looks like he's having to go with the forehand. He's trying to keep this wide. If this doesn't skip, he might not ever come back in bounds.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And that is a disastrous mistake for Matt. Not the start he was looking for at all. And Paul? Oh, yeah, that is parked. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it looked like it just sat there. It didn't do anything.
It kind of looked like he almost threw it a little short at first, but just riding the nose up with the headwind. Got it all the way there. And Garrett going with the AVR X3. Such a huge advantage to take off so much of the hole with that huge drive. And Matt, who really couldn't advance that far after that sidearm, just went straight OB. He's going to need to save the 5 and move on. And he's got a challenging putt to do so.
Yeah, that's not easy. That's right to left crosswind, and he's a push putter, so it could lift. It's a tricky putt from there.
Mm-hmm. Especially after the nerves of the early mistake, missing hole 1 when the rest of the card birdied it. And now you're looking at this putt, and that's a good hit to make right there.
Looked like Eric Oakley had a little misfire there for birdie.
Just a little bit left side chains.
Right.
That's not so much on the putt as it is the approach. Eric, his drive wasn't bad, but it wasn't quite far enough, so the whole thing becomes a lot more difficult. As you can see, he had to go driver for his approach, whereas McBeth and Garrett both went putter approaches, and you could tell the difference in the advantage that they had for themselves after the tee shot. And did you get a strange feeling just being out there, not hearing the loud applause from the lead card? And for me, it just seemed a bit eerie out there, knowing all the things that are going on around this really unsettling situation that really none of us really know all the details about.
I mean, last year I was on the lead card for the final round, and even on this hole particular, the crowd control was really tough to even navigate through. I remember somebody kind of running in front of me when I was tapping out, and it was kind of a little bit unusual then, and now it's completely opposite. You know, there's absolutely nobody on the course, and, you know, they throw a good shot. There's no claps.
And Paul's pushed this very wide, but gets through all the way, and that's going to be a very testy putt with that right to left wind to an elevated basket from 40 feet. I'd be interested to see if Paul, with his 3-stroke lead over Garrett, is going to be pushing the pedal to the metal or not.
You know, it's funny. He's at that spot where it's
Watch out for
almost
Garrett.
like he can't lay it up. He's right at that spot where he's very accurate as a putter. And so he probably thinks he's going to make it, but it's also tough. High rise, uphill, wind. I mean, you're right. It'll be interesting to see what he does.
And with this basket moving back that extra 30 feet, that sidearm line, which had been so great in the past, you wouldn't think that it would change for just such a small push back, but it really does change the angle quite a bit. And I don't think I've seen one sidearm drive anywhere near the circle yet. And Matt hitting the bulk of the gap there. He's left himself a kind of a headwind putt from 33 feet. That's going to be challenging. Paul, that never had the height. He's left himself about 23, 24 feet. He's a little disgusted with that. Didn't really ever have the
Yeah, I think he was thinking that the right to left was going to lift the putt, and it just never did. Just outside the circle. I mean, it's just windy. You know, it's almost as windy as the first day.
Yeah, in some places it was even more so. It was a little bit more inconsistent, but man, no one able to pick up the birdie here. And McBeth still has some work to do, actually. Oh, man. And that time he had the left to right, and he missed the left side.
Yeah, just no extension there. It looks like he didn't follow through. You know, sometimes we all get a little lazy with that.
And that's typically you want to get your strokes by earning them, especially if you're Garrett here, you know, being the closest person on the card chasing him. But I think you'll take whatever you can get, obviously. You'd rather get the birdie to get the stroke, but...
I mean, he's taking his time with this even.
Sure. I mean, I don't know if there's a scarier putt in disc golf than on an elevated basket with a headwind. It's just...
Yeah, because even if you make it, sometimes they blow out. There's all kinds of funny stuff that can happen. But yeah, not the best hole for our lead card here.
On to hole 4, par 4, 441 feet. One of the shortest par 4s you're going to see on tour, and one of the most interesting in my opinion. I think that it's a really touchy hole where you have to get to the left side. Right around this area right now is kind of the money zone by these two trees. If you can get past those on your tee shot, you've done something very special. From there, you have a little tricky of approach because of that tree right there on the right and that big tree on the left. And then once you get up to the green, you really have to have perfect speed control. Otherwise, you'll go down the hill and maybe even in the Brazos River.
This looks so good.
If this doesn't skip too far, I think Garrett just threw a perfect tee shot.
It's one of the things that really impresses me about Garrett's game, Drew's game, is they have this unique ability to throw it so far, so accurate, but they can also tone it down and with accuracy, and it's definitely something that I envy, the power part, and to be able to have that kind of speed control.
Yeah, definitely having the best of both worlds. I think at this point, most people realize how good Garrett is in the woods. Paul actually kind of getting away with a little bit too straight. He wanted more hyzer on that. But yeah, but at this point, most people know how good Garrett is in the woods. But he's just so smooth. It's so fun to watch him throw his flip-up rock shots in the woods. And Matt having to do a really interesting shot. That was actually really well executed, having to go through that tight line with the forehand turnover. And this is what you see almost every time. Anytime you get into the woods, it's just pitch out.
I'm curious to see if Paul has a line straight to the basket. I mean, that was a favorable kick. To get to the left right there, he's definitely going to have some sort of shot into the green.
And Garrett going, can he get edge?
Yeah.
It does, but didn't get it early enough. That is a really tough place to be.
I don't know. I think that's a putt there.
It's a putt, but it's a scary putt because you're looking straight at the water's edge from 35 feet. I mean, he does have a look, though. You're right about that.
I like it.
So So yeah, Paul does have a look. He's going with his zone.
Oh yeah, wide open.
And perfectly executed. That is an awesome shot.
Matt Bell, kind of in a sticky situation here.
And that is really good touch. That green right there, that hard pan ground is so easy to slide, and you can get really, yeah, Garrett just having to lay up. Well, could have been a little bit of a run there. That might have been a Sonic.
Left side again. Both of Eric's misses so far have been left side. We're going to need to extend a little more. We'll look for that in the coming holes with him.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of extending, Paul will be extending that lead one more here. Hole 5 is a par 3, 264 feet, and as we had mentioned the day before, this gap, it seems so easy. You can see that basket just perched to the top of the hill when you're on the tee box, but that gap just seems to get swollen as soon as you're about to release the disc. If it's a little bit too high, there's limbs all up and down the fairway that'll smack it down, and there's a couple trees up here on the edge of the top of the hill that if you hit those, you'll come right back down the hill. So it's a very challenging little 264-foot technical hole.
And another thing about it that makes it challenging is, this is not for this guy, but
it's so good,
is the decision between putter mid-range or maybe mid-range fairway driver. Because as we watch this beautiful shot,
I mean, there was just no doubt about that one at any point whatsoever. The nose was up, the turn was perfect. You really want to hit the very top edge of that hill and keep sliding.
But you want to throw whatever that comfortable release is, and sometimes that's your fairway driver, but then you go a little too far, and then when you club down to your mid-range, then you lose your touch with it. Like, it definitely keeps you thinking.
Yeah, I mean, at 264 being as far uphill as it is, it makes you throw a little bit further, as Matt has thrown a great shot as well. Yeah, fairway. I go with the fairway driver personally, and I'm trying to kind of take a little bit off, whereas McBeth can kind of be a little bit more full with the mid-range shot. And like you said, it's just really all a matter of what you're most comfortable with throwing a straight shot at this distance. Looks like Eric is also going with maybe a felon, getting all the way up in the circle, and maybe that tree even helped him with the speed control. Who knows? I could have skipped outside the circle, and now he's got a putt from 23 feet. Garrett just floating that Sonic up. It's such a thing of beauty watching him throw that disc.
So much touch.
Mm-hmm. And he does extend his arm almost too much there, but catches right side, and he's going to collect a birdie. His first one since hole 1. And Matt is up high and left, and he has fallen out. He has also not had a birdie all round yet. And that lead is just only going to get wider as McBeth is absolutely parked for the 2. Matt needs to right this ship immediately. And he's going to need help from the rest of the field as well, because right now he's falling down. And this event is always so tight at the top of the leaderboard. And it's going to be even tighter this year because it's only a 2-round event. Hole 6, par 3, 267 feet. Just a little bit of a trail down the hill to the right. Your common play is going to see a forehand with maybe a fairway driver or a backhand turnover mid-range or a putter. Just want to get past that hill right there, maybe even skip off that first little downhill and then nestle down there by the pin. And Paul is going with a buzz here. And this is a little too straight. Not enough angle on that. It sets Paul up for potentially his first par of the round. Eric is so good with these touchy mid-range shots. Not many players throw the mid-range forehand flip up as well as Eric does, and he has a great shot there, all the way into the circle. It's a very common miss to see that early inside tree getting hit and kicking off to the right.
Yeah, it's my favorite play.
Seems to be a lot of people's favorite play. Matt also connecting that tree, but just enough of the outside to still manage to make it down there to manageable putting distance. We've seen him make so many putts from that range.
Paul with this delicate little upshot. Oh, man.
Almost makes it. If that had gone any further in, I would actually be a little concerned about his chances of making the next putt. It gets real dicey behind the pin. And that was a great play from Garrett. He didn't try to get too greedy and try to turn it to the pin and try to park it. He just found the best lane, attacked for that. Oh.
And usually those are his like favorite putts. I feel like those are ones that he just he makes a very, very high percentage of those.
Yeah, and Paul actually is a bit deep with the awkward putt, but
Nice scramble, bud.
I don't know if there's really any better in the game at making those putts from his knee. Maybe Simon Lizotte, but it really doesn't seem like he's ever in any uncomfortable position on the putting green.
Yeah, he's definitely the best at that, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Eric, he's collected 2 birdies in a row now. Okay. Garrett is in for the par. A slow start from Matt Bell. These are the holes we really expect him to do well on, so he needs to figure something out in his game and get back on track. Hole 7, par 4, 462 feet. The play is going to be a backhand mid-range or maybe a fairway driver for some of these players, getting out to the left. You're not trying to go too far, because if you go too far left, it really sets up for an uncomfortable approach with the bushes. Forehand is also a really great play. If you have the forehand turnover and...
I don't think anybody could explain it any different than what he just said.
The best commentary you're going to get right there. That was so bad. But that forehand shot is so tricky. You have to be really confident with your angles and the disc that you're throwing to be able to get it to do the right thing on this hole.
Which Eric is known to be all of those things, and it was just a misfire.
Yeah, uncharacteristic mistake for him. Paul going with his buzz, and that's in the sweet spot.
And not uncharacteristic.
No, not at all. I'd say that's where 95% of the shots that are executed well are landing right where Paul was at. And Garrett's got just a little bit more distance, but that extra distance can be a good thing if you're trying to run it for the 2, but it can also be a bad thing. If you're too far, you really don't have any angle to the pin. And Matt hitting the gap perfectly as well, and right there next to Paul's buzz. Let's see what Eric is left with after that.
Oh, he's in the other fairway.
Oh, man.
He's really...
Okay, he actually had a pretty open look. Oh, but he is way left. I don't know if he's going to have anything besides his sidearm and high. Okay, he's actually going to go backhand hyzer at this. And, oh man.
The one you got to miss.
That was so close to perfection.
He hit that tree, but he should be still down in the gully. He'll have a putt, most likely.
Oh, and Paul, I mean, even when he's leading the event and has a pretty comfortable cushion, he's still pushing the pedal to the metal. I don't think that was a layup at all. I think he was trying to ring that one up.
Matt Bell should be able to make his first birdie of the round right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice upshot.
And Garrett with a floaty Sonic, and that just got away.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of uncharacteristic, you never see him do that with that disc. Oh, no. Oh, hate to see that for Garrett.
Uh-oh. That was a good putt.
That was a really solid putt. Oh, that's almost a candidate for a Jomez. I thought he drilled it.
Uh-oh. Why do I keep saying uh-oh? Just sit down.
Stop saying uh-oh. You're doing this to their discs. Eric has just had a heartbreaker of a hole. So many shots just barely off and having to walk off with the bogey. I don't think you should say, oh, yeah, either.
Well, he made it. I wanted to change it
He
from
said, oh, yeah, right as he got the bogey.
He made a good putt.
Stop it.
All right.
I think now is a good time to give a shout out to Zachariah Johnson, who apparently you played with.
I did.
And he drove it to 5 or 10 feet, something crazy close.
He did. And he was struggling a bit to this point. And I looked at one of our other card mates and I said, I feel like he's going to park this. Because if you know Zach, this is one of the holes that kind of sets up
he's got
right
a great
for his
forehand.
for his full power sidearm. And that's exactly what he did. Parked
well,
it.
good for him. I wish I could have joined that club, but he was the only eagle of the weekend on hole 7. Moving on to hole 8. Par 3, 213 feet. This is a short one. Very narrow gap. There was actually a vine removed that made the gap a little bit less narrow before the round 1 competition. But the speed control, once again, coming into the screen is paramount. Paul going with a Luna. Going at low, driving, and that's left and short. And we saw Calvin in a similar spot yesterday, and that's too close to lay up, but it is also a really scary putt. And if you miss that one without connecting center chains or basket, you're going down that hill. And that's exactly where Matt was going until he connected on that tree. See if Eric can shake off the bogey. Oh, it's so beautiful. Just a little kiss off to the left, but you could... There you go.
Got a little kiss. And maybe Matt Bell can give a kiss to the other tree for stopping him.
There you go. And a Wombat 3, I presume, from Garrett. Look how smooth that is. That is just so delicate, so accurate. Turning his body and his hips, yet getting the disc, the release just perfectly dead center down the fairway. Paul taking his time. And does connect center basket. Nice layup from Eric Oakley. I don't know why he said that.
Yeah. Huh.
Okay, all right, whatever.
I'll go. Well, yeah, I'm already here.
Eric directing traffic.
And connecting on the birdie. He's kind of had a roller coaster 5-hole stretch right now. And Matt connecting on consecutive birdies, getting him under par for the round. And Paul with the only par of the card. Unfortunately, we cannot donate any money to charity if they don't pick up the star frame.
Well, you can.
Ooh. Put me in a tough spot here, buddy. Hole 9, par 4, 519 feet. This one is a beast of a hole. This one really lends itself to the name of the course, the beast, Brazos East. This is a very, very difficult landing zone, getting all the way down to the bottom of this hill. If you do get all the way down to the bottom of the hill, you've done a great thing. And now you're left with a somewhat easy, short approach. But getting all the way down past all the rows of trees in the middle is a very tall task. Disc selection on this hole is usually limited to the straightest possible disc. And has to be something fast too. You'll never really see anyone get all the way down to where you need with a mid-range. So it's got to be a fairway driver or high-speed driver, something that is understable and can flip up. And if this turns, oh, that is such a great shot from Eric and a great reaction off the tree as well, getting down to that sweet spot.
It's a really tough sidearm.
You have to go something so understable. There's nothing that you like off to the right side of the fairway. You have to get the disc to bend left at the end. That's a tough break for Garrett. That's a bad kick off to the left.
Yeah, you don't want to go straight left. You don't want to go straight right here. Like, it's basically a pitch out, and then
No matter what, yeah.
yeah, it's really tough to get down to the goalie.
And Paul missing off to the left. A lot of times they kick out. That time it did not look like he did. And Garrett, look at that, having to go with a flick roller. If that can keep trucking down the hill,
wow.
That was a great effort. He's going to have an awkward stance, but man, from all the way back where he was to get down to the bottom of the hill is a bonus. I think Matt was getting hyper aggressive with a super unstable flick roller.
Yeah.
It was just a little inside.
Oh my gosh.
Sick. That's sick.
That was awesome.
If that hadn't
When
hit,
you pulled it over, I thought it was an overstable. That's what I was going to do this.
that was such a creative idea. Almost getting away with that. It's still a good result.
And Paul actually caught a pretty good break there.
Mm-hmm.
He was all the way down at the goal. He had some sort of shot into the green, but he pulled it a bit there to the left. And once you pull it left, I mean, you can see kind of where Garrett's shot is going to the. Now it's in that stuff. It's pretty thick.
Yeah, and Garrett will have maybe 40 feet left for the par. Eric, however, has a chance for a highly coveted birdie and catching the last tree in the way. That was so close.
And he might have about a 40-footer as well for birdie, though.
And that, I don't think Matt's going to like that. That is too deep. As Paul wisely lays up, he's looking to potentially add another stroke if Garrett. Well, Eric has got a easy par, but Garrett has a long putt for his par. Oh, and he's off the band. He's going to drop down to 9 under. Matt's got a difficult putt. If he doesn't make this, he's going to drop to 9 under. Oh, but he cans it through the woods. That is a solid
Look
par
at him
save.
try to get through there.
If he's got to dance like that just to walk through it, you can imagine what his disc had to do to fly through it.
He did the same thing as his putter did.
He's just fluttering through it. So Eric has this short putt for par. But McBeth with a 5-stroke clearance over this card. It's going to be interesting to see as no one from this card is really tearing it up. Paul's got a pretty good front 9 at 4 under. But that certainly leaves room for other cards to make a chase. We're going to have to check in on that leader chase card, or that the entire card. And here we go. And we see Philo Brathwaite making moves. He is the closest. With 9 holes left, he is 3 back. Colton Montgomery, he's 4 back, 4 down to the front 9. But no one really putting down anything remarkable in the front 9.
It looks like that 4 under from Paul Ulibarri is a smoke.
Oh, boy, that is a good one. But there's plenty of that. There's plenty of action left on this round. We've got 9 holes left. Let's see if Paul can hold off the chasers. And thank you once again to the JomezPro Founders Club. You know, as always, your contributions allow this to happen. We appreciate you so much. Stay tuned. We got the back 9 coming up right away.
Thank you, Ernie Davis, for your donation.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. And now it's time for a Grip 6 giveaway. Head over to grip6.com/JomezPro to enter to win sweet stuff. Belts like these. I know Paul and I have been wearing the belts for years. They're excellent. You're going to love them. Head over there right now to get your Grip 6 belt.
Thank you.